One of my favorite recent phrases is that if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a prototype is worth 1,000 meetings. Nobody wants to create something that ultimately never gets used. And the best way to keep that from happening is start with a prototype. Now, we use this all the time at Sodium Halogen when we're creating software, when we're designing and developing software. We will start with a prototype. We'll begin with sketching before we even step to a computer. We'll sketch out how we think the app is going to work, and then we'll put that in front of real people and say, what are the things based on what you see here that you want to accomplish? How would you do that? How do you currently accomplish this? So through that entire process of back and forth, making a prototype, presenting it to a user, we're learning more about what we should develop and what we shouldn't develop. And it saves us a ton of time. Now, unless your company creates software, you might be thinking, well, that's great, William, but how does this help me? Well, prototyping is valuable for so much more than just software development. It can be used to help prototype services or programs that are out there. And let me give you one example. One of the most amazing experiences I had was getting an opportunity to go to the White House and help teach White House staffers how to think more like a startup. My friend tour, Janice Frazier, did multiple sessions at the White House, and she invited me to come and help facilitate in one of the workshops. So the group that I was working with had a challenge. They wanted to serve a section of a city in Virginia that did not have public transportation available to them. But they knew that buying buses, hiring drivers, all of the rest of the things that go into that was going to be a really expensive proposition, especially if it wasn't ultimately going to be effective. So we worked with them to help think through how could they test this out? How could they prototype this? And where we landed was that they were going to rent 15 passenger vans, wrap the outside so people feel safe that it is actually part of the system there, pick them up at a few locations in this underserved area, and then while they're driving those people to their destination, asking them questions like, how do you normally get to work? How do you normally get to the grocery store? How often would you use this bus that is here today? And based on the feedback, they were able to see if they should move forward or try something different. Even though the programs in your organization might not have as many zeros, you can still really benefit from prototyping before you build out a service or a product. For this week's experiment, think about a program or system that your company has recently implemented. Maybe you opened a new branch, or you found a new way of creating and sending proposals to prospects. If you'd used prototyping first, how could you have made that system more efficient? Or more importantly, how could you have made that program or system more effective by using prototyping first?